Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good start to their week and everything. Yeah, guys, there's a lot going on. We don't really talk about political stuff here on my channel, but I would be not doing the right thing if I just didn't at least mention the fact that there are a lot of things coming together all at once. I wouldn't really be doing what I should be doing if I didn't at least mention it. In other words, I can't keep my mouth shut when I see stuff. I find it pretty irresponsible of people that won't at least step out of what they're comfortable talking about, at least for a second, and just see, try to help everybody out as much as they can with any kind of knowledge they get. With what I do here on my channel, guys, I get a lot of emails on a lot of different subjects. I know I do a space weather channel, more of a, I guess it's more on the conspiracy end of it because we talk about, Planet X and stuff. But at the same time, it is not, it is part of the quote unquote truther community type of thing. So when I do see stuff, I do want to mention it. I'm not going to dive deep into stuff like that, but I will mention it because I think it's important to do that. I think we all need to do that. Is anybody else seeing buffering besides Trish? Let me know if you do. If everybody's seeing it, then I can shut down some of this stuff up here. Might just throw me a 5x5 or something there. Okay, cool. Alright, good. I'll go up here and say hi to everybody real quick. Julie, first in there, that's right. Randy Newman, G513, number 3 today. Heck yeah. Janelle, Arizona, what's up? C. Marie, CW, what's up, bud? Good to see you. Good to see you. Michael, Dale, Suzette, Rick, Muse, hey, Dudette, what's up? Crystal, Cheryl, Dale, Jerry, good to see you. Thanks for modding for me. Any of the mods in here, thank you guys so much. You guys do a wonderful job for me and for the chat. You guys are great. So just know that. C. Marie, Linda, good to see you. Diesel, Marty, Darcy, Carolyn, Judith. Is that Judith? Yeah, so if I mess it up, hey Jane Doe, what's up? Woke, Kathleen, Tina, Randy, Vanama's in here, Candace, alright, that's right. Greenie's in here. Okay. Russell, I think I seen Russell up there a minute there too. Who else was there? Oh, Occam's Razor, good to see you. Keith, hey bud, hope you're doing good, man. I really do. If you need anything, man, just hit me up on my email. I haven't checked my emails today yet, guys. I haven't really had a chance. Hey Lisa, what's up? I will get to them, okay? Just give me a few. I've been, pretty busy myself, so we are AB, what's up? Strom. So we're gonna get into this, guys, and just get into what we need to talk about, right? Schumann. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on the Schumann tonight because there's not a whole lot out of the ordinary. All right, so I will just keep moving from that, okay? Because there's really not a whole lot of to talk about there, guys. Hey, Barbara, what's up? Hey, Trinity, good to see you. Seeking Truth, good to see you. Now, I got before I move on with this, I did get a text message from Hopi, and he was saying that they killed Earthly Patriots channel. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is, but if you don't, I guess they killed his channel completely. I didn't get any details, but Keith, tell Queen Brad I said hey, okay? Angela, holding it down in the Bronx for me, baby. That's right. Boogie on down. But yeah, so the Schumann guys, all the stuff we always talk about here, actually it does seem like it's kind of just really calmed down right now. I'm not really seeing much of anything there, so we'll move on. Space weather, obviously that's why most people are here. I get that. Remember last night when I was doing my stream, any of you guys that were here, Remember I said, hey, we're going to have to wait and see what the next bar does. And look what happened. That is a significant jump. That is a KP rise of 3 from one time to the next. And that's right, Angelo. You represent, brother. But so remember what I said last night? I was like, hey, I'd be surprised if we didn't get up in like right there. I mean, borderline storm level. That was exactly kind of what I was trying to say last night. Without saying, hey, we're going to get into a geomagnetic storm. I said I didn't know if we'd get that far that quick, but we did. That's the first CME. That first filament that erupted, and I tell you what we're going to do before I move on. For those that haven't seen it, I'm going to show it to you guys again real quick. SpaceWeatherNews.com, SpaceWeather.com. Not Space Weather News, SpaceWeather.com. They did a really good job. They do an awesome job anyway, but this was awesome. This little video here is it really helps me show you guys what's going on. So once this goes, we'll watch it. Now watch right in here. You see this filament? Watch what happens right down in here. It lifts off and boom. That's that first one. Now the second one's right here. Boom. Okay, we'll watch it one more time. Right there. Okay, and then the other one's kind of arcing right here. And it breaks. Okay, that's a filament, just like in a hey Jasmine, what's up? Just like in a hey love, what's going on? Rhonda, CJ, Seeking Truth. I already said hi to you. Sorry, Carolyn, good to see you. But yeah, so it's just like an incandescent light bulb, guys. All right, just like anybody knows what those are, the old style light bulbs. For all the young people that's watching, probably don't really know a whole lot about those, but they got filaments in them. It creates resistance, which is what produces the light and the heat that comes off of it, and that filament breaks. When that filament breaks, the bulb goes out. That's why, hey Ricky, what's up? Ricky's got a channel, guys. You guys should go over and check her out. She's starting her channel up. I'd really love for you guys to go give her a subscription. Give her a good, hey Terry, what's up? Give her a good, start to her channel. Jim, what's up? Mary, Hero. So yeah, guys, go check out Jerry's channel. Jerry, if you want to, go ahead. I mean, not Jerry, I'm sorry. Ricky's channel. Go ahead and drop your link in there, Ricky, so they can hop over there and give you a sub. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could. I really would. Russell, too. Russell, you can drop your link in there, too, bud. But anyway. Notice how the X-ray flux has dropped down. Reason why, no sunspots. It's not producing much X-ray. We always have some X-ray coming from the sun, but not a very significant much, E-Rock, good to see you, bud. Now, the proton flux will go up usually after a flare. It has like a delay, and what this is trying to show us radiation storms. Usually it doesn't affect us here on the surface. People that fly high altitudes and latitudes, sometimes it can affect that. Astronauts have to really pay attention to this stuff. Hey, Wolfie. And then also, surface charging on satellites can be disrupted by this stuff. Okay? All of this stuff. So, yeah. But anyway, you can see our geomagnetic activity it's sitting at a 3 on the KP. If it gets to a 5, it'll be a G1 storm. So what are they predicting? Well, they're still predicting the same. That's what I showed you guys yesterday. Okay? Here's the G1 storm. Now, we've already seen the first bar. Okay? For the going into the 7th. Because this is UTC time. And that's exactly what they predicted here. They're a little low on their prediction right here. I mean, they're high. It came in one number lower. But if you remember, this number here was like at a 2. They didn't expect it to really hit us that hard, that quick. So, it's close, okay? It's not perfect, and it never will be. But what I want to say here is we're now starting to feel the impacts of the next CME. Now, what we're going to have to pay attention to, and we'll take a look at it here after we look at the sun. This corona hole is actually getting bigger. Okay, so this is facing us. You know, the Earth is the equator of the sun right here. The Earth kind of sits just to the south of the equator. All right, so when we connect to this thing, we'll get solar wind from it in a few days. So, yeah. And when we see all this stuff, no sunspots. No sunspots. It just blows my mind. So, hey Kiwi, good to see you. Hey, just because you're here, let me do this. We'll go over here to Australia. How about that? This is an Australian model. So what are we going to see here? Well, we're going to see some pretty significant hits. Okay? This is the density. That's the speed. That is the BZ. What we look for on the BZ is when it gets to -6 or greater. Why did it push out like that? Because the density went low for a minute. Now it's going to push back the other way, and you're going to see it get pretty high, up in the 60s, and it compressed. Okay, this is called compression and rapid expansion. When we get hit, we compress, and then we're pushing back hard, and then we'll win that battle for a few minutes, and we'll go out further than what we started at, as far as the position of our bow shock. And the bow shock is nothing more than the point where solar wind hits our magnetic field. That's all that it is. So just know that. Now, again, we got to watch that. Now, we have to pay attention to the BZ too, okay? Because I think this would be the only thing that could keep us from getting into storm level right now. You see what happened when we got hit yesterday. When this all started going up, this is what happened. So when we start seeing this thing kind of, bumping up again, if this BZ doesn't go too far into the negative, we're probably not going to see much of a storm. That really almost has to happen for us to really get a good geomagnetic storm out of it. And what that is basically the angle of which the solar wind is hitting us. So, if it's in the positive, that's basically telling you, hey, the angle is not correct for it to really come into our system. If it's in the negative, it means it's more favorable for it too. The phi angle did look like it flipped back up here too. Remember yesterday it went this way? Now it's, it was hanging out down here, and all of a sudden, bam, it goes back up. That's the polarity of the solar wind itself. The solar wind travels here on a magnetic connection line. I say that a lot. So the solar wind is charged particles, which means it has a positive and a negative. Sometimes those flip. They go to the other side. It's still traveling our direction. It's just not, it doesn't have the same polarity, so it doesn't hit us the same. But whenever the phi angle does do that, we'll see a little pull on our magnetic field. It usually doesn't do much to us, but if we're having other space weather at the same time, it can really increase things. Now the density, if we're going to look at the range here, it's 0 basic, well, it's at 1. It's 0.1 down here actually. Essentially 0 to 100. Now this thing usually doesn't show 100. The only time it does is if it thinks it's going to see a reading like that. And right now this dotted line is 10. If we stayed right on that dotted line, that's still above normal. 4 is what we consider normal. So yeah. But anyway, as we're looking at this is the solar wind, and you're seeing this thing kind of upticking, right? So we're going up, and it didn't just level out. It's starting to go back up again. And it did kind of take a little dive here at the end, but the density did, the speed didn't. So we're probably just now starting to feel the effects of the second CME, or filament dish, solar storm, I guess I could call it. So if we take this, that's when the big that right there is when this model, the Enlil spiral model, is saying we're going to be seeing the peak conditions, which is basically, what time's it saying here? About 11 UTC. So here in the next 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours, I think it's probably already starting to get here, and I'll show you why here in a second. All right, now look, here's the Aurora. This right here itself is telling me we're having an uptick in geomagnetic activity, and I'll explain. This is historic data. What that means is this right here is the latest capture, and it shows us what happened before that. So let me pause it here, go to there, and if we back it up, see how we were right there? See how low that activity is? And then all of a sudden we go from that to that in like just a few hours, like an hour and a half. So that's telling me that we're experiencing more geomagnetic activity right now. We're getting hit right now. And this probably will keep on increasing to the point where we may be into storm level. Who knows? But yeah. So that's happening there. And that's just another way we can confirm that we're getting solar weather. The electron flux has been really, very, very active. The magnometer here, this right here is the bump we seen yesterday. See it? And then, now we're down here. And if it's going that way, it's still a spike. So we could be getting another spike here. This is for what we look at for X-ray flux. Not X-ray flux, I'm sorry. For X-rays, like from solar flares. There are no solar flares happening, so I'm not even going to look at that. Alright, this is the magnetopause models. The sun's off to the left on this one. Okay. I'll push play. You're going to definitely see okay, see we're starting to get that little wave right there. So I do think that that's probably the beginning of the second CME that we're going to be experiencing. I want to show you guys something else too I caught on the density here. This is density, alright? Notice how it's pretty active too, okay? But I want you guys to check this out. Alright, now I'm just going to zoom that in a little bit. Watch right here. I don't even know how I seen this, but my eye caught it, so I'm going to show it to you. Notice the time. It's 1:14 UTC. I'm going to go ahead 1 minute. Now watch what happens. Right here where my cursor is. Watch this. Ah, shoot. Hold on. Alright, now watch. Right here where my cursor is. See that? So let me go back 2 or 3 minutes. Or 5, 10, whatever that was. And we'll go forward again. And then we see, bam, okay? Wham, and then it goes away the very next minute. So, yeah. Karma, we get geomagnetic storms and stuff outside of solar flares. Solar flare is nothing more than just a big blast of X-ray, okay? What we'll be worried about with solar flares is the geomagnetic storm behind it. But we can have plasma ejecting off the sun without a solar flare. So that's what we're talking about here. We had a filament release and it shot plasma off. But yeah, you guys see that? I've never seen that do that before. Bam. I mean, it's like a big shot. I don't know what it was. I just don't know. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, thank you. That is insane, isn't it, Karma? I just can't even believe I seen it. It was only there for 1 minute, guys. I don't even know how my eye even caught that. But guys, listen, that isn't nothing to ignore, because that was very directional, and it was like we somehow discharged right there somehow. That's a pretty pinpointed area. and it's in a straight line going that way. It is, it's very odd. Okay? Really? Wow, Angelo, that's kind of crazy. If you got any links, go ahead and post them. We'll take a look at them. But you're going to see the same thing here too, guys, in the pressure. First off, we got a lot of pressure around our planet right now. Okay? Actually, I'm just going to reset that. And we'll go back down to it and see what we got. So, let me push play here. I should have done that up here and I didn't. But anyway, we'll go back up there in a second. So, it was at, well, I almost stopped it right at the right time. Okay, so if you remember the time frame, it was, we go to 13. Now watch right here again. See it? So something happened right there. I don't know what it was. It's just kind of strange for it to happen in that behind our bow shock into our magnetosphere. To see something like that, it's kind of odd. It's very strange. It's really pinpointed. I don't know what caused that. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of theories out there, but you know, that is what it is. But notice the density around our planet right now. It's really kind of, again, I have to say, odd. It is, as we roll this through, you can see. Now look, here, even here on the end, look, it's doing it again. Let me show you something. So first we see that, right? Right there. Now let me take you to the end of the time lapse here. Notice what's going on here. I don't know what's causing that, guys, but this is kind of some crazy density readings here. It really is. And this is the speed. The speed's the only thing it really didn't show a whole lot right there. It did show some movement, but not a whole bunch. So yeah, we're definitely getting some more solar weather here. Bam, bam. Or space weather, I should say. Coming from the sun. So yeah. Alright. So, this is the other magnetopause models. We'll take a look at these real quick. And again, obviously we're going to see some stuff here. We're getting hit, so we're going to see stuff. So you're going to see this, and it's going to get pretty intense. Okay. See it? Now, again, this is what we would expect to see with getting hit with a solar storm, okay? This isn't something we wouldn't expect to see. Most definitely is. I just want you guys to see it because it's important to know what is causing these things, number one. Number two, what do they look like? You know, what should these things look like when we get hit? Well, this is exactly what it should look like. Now, what we talk about when it gets crazy is the fact that when we see these things outside of the storms. So, you're going to see some pretty crazy looking magnetic signatures here in a minute. And I've been showing them to you for the past week. But this one is very explainable by, you know, we're getting hit with a filament. So, I mean, or a filament release. It's plasma. So you get here, let me do this. Okay, so obviously you can tell. I mean, I think probably a 5-year-old could tell that that's something that's significant. You know, when it looks like that and then it goes to that, I mean, that's a massive change. But yeah, you know, the direction of these things and the shapes that they're making right here, you know, we are getting, like I said, we're getting hit. So I don't know that I would put too much into that right now. And again, let me say this. I look at more of the strange shapes that these things make outside of the solar storms. Because when we get hit, guys, our magnetosphere is going to respond. It's going to, you know, you're going to see some magnetic chaos when we get hit like this. Now, again, like I said, when we really should pay attention to those kinds of things is when we don't have any storms. And if you still see that outside of a storm, then you have to understand that something is not correct. So anyway, notice how we got all that pressure around us, okay? And this is one of the reasons why we talk about earthquakes during these kinds of things. Okay, look at that. That's a lot of pressure. Now, I've seen a lot worse. We all have, probably. But notice, this is the satellite line. Number one, the real intense stuff is hitting the satellite line. And what's crazy is, you see that little mark right there? If you look at the key over here, it's which one is that? Can't tell if that's a triangle or a square. Anyway, here, let me do this. It's a diamond shape. That's GOES 13. Okay? That's GOES 13, and this one here is GOES 14. You can tell that by looking at the key here. You guys were wondering. But regardless, let me show you this. You see this? Remember that one that was shooting off on this other magnetopause model? Let's take it to the same time and see what it shows us. How about that? But see how we kind of closed back up and kind of started recovering a little bit? Now our bow shock is closer to us than what it normally is. So we're still getting constant pressure. But notice the bend now. Like this. It's like it goes out straight and then it kind of bends down. What's that map of? This one? You're asking optics? This is our magnetopause, guys. If you look up here, it'll give you a name. This is the magnetopause. This is the magnetosphere. This is going to show you solar wind in its direction. This one here is the magnetosphere, but it's the Y cut, and it's giving you magnetic lines. Okay, you got interplanetary magnetic field lines, pole lines, and closed field lines. I plan on doing some videos on that just to explain that to people and put it in a playlist so people can understand a little better. I used to go over these things like really far in detail, and it just ate up so much time. I wish I could do it every video, but it's too much to try to share all in one video plus everything else. But this is our magnetopause, okay? Again, this is really close to us. This is what we want to look at, really. But when we see these signatures kind of taking shapes like this, we have to understand that if it's going to go at an angle, it's most likely directional. Sandy, how can we tell in real life? Well, let me show you this then. That's a good question, by the way. Okay? That's a very, very legitimate question, and I wish people would ask that more often, just to be honest with you. Because that's really what we want to know, right? How's it going to affect our lives? I mean, that's why we're here, right? Well, this is what happens when you get into a G1 storm. These are the conditions you can expect to see and feel. You don't have to have any kind of satellite data or any data at all to be able to understand this. Okay, I seen somebody in the chat talking about how they seen their animals acting kind of wonky today. Well, look, what can happen during G1 storm? Migratory animals in the northern regions can have some effects on them. In other words, they get lost. Okay? So, also, satellite operations. You take this in consideration. How do we navigate? ourselves. Most of us will pick up our phone and use GPS. What's GPS stand for? Global Positioning Satellite. So if the satellites are being affected, our navigation can be affected because of that. Storms can cause weak power grid fluctuations. They don't typically do this though, just so you know. And they happen a lot. 1,700 times in an 11-year time period in the solar cycle. But that was a great question. I don't think we're going to get anything more than a G1. It just doesn't look that powerful. If we even get into G1. It may stop just prior to that. Does that mean anything? Well, we can still experience some of these kinds of things even with the KP of 4. Okay? We could go right to the edge, just a little bit more, and we're into storm level. So that's it's crazy, isn't it, Giggles? So just know that, guys. I mean, magnetics is what we're talking about here, guys. I showed you guys the herding of the reindeer, how they would do the cyclones. I showed you guys that. I think if you guys don't remember it, we'll take a look at it in the next video if you want me to. But they were spinning. They would herd and they would circle real fast clockwise in this big, looked like a hurricane of reindeer. But 2 years ago, they started going the other direction. Oh no, we won't see it with our naked eye, Karma. What I will say to that though, believe it or not, it does help cause like lightning and thunderstorms. It adds a charge, okay? So it can make things more significantly intense when we're just talking about local weather and stuff. We won't be able to see plasma with our eyes. Okay, what is plasma? You got to think about what that actually is first. Plasma is nothing more than gas that has a charge. That's all that it is. Okay, they didn't even used to have that. There used to be 3 forms of states of matter: solid, liquid, gas. Well, now we have a 4th that we know it's charged gas. That's the difference. So when we're looking at this is basically what you're looking at. So, and when we see, another reason why they use different angstroms, guys, they're trying to look at specific gases. Different gases show up in different angstroms. That's why, this one doesn't exactly match the 190 or the 304. It won't match the 211. It's looking at a different gas. Is basically what we're looking at. So, yeah. Yeah, it's got a corona there, Hopperson. That's the corona. It's not that big right now. That is definitely something we've talked about. And the reason why it's not that big is because of this. See the sun cycles? We're just now coming out of, we're going into the 2nd year of the new sun cycle. So we're still kind of in a low period for the sun. What I can do for you guys real quick, because I know that's a very legitimate question, number one. So what I'll do is that this is real simple. Anybody can do this, and I would encourage you to do this. Go over here to ISWA, click on the solar tab right here. Go to page 2. You're going to see SOHO show up. This satellite is right in front of Earth, about 1 million miles closer to the sun. It orbits with the Earth around the sun, and it always looks at the sun. Okay? So, a good way to tell what's the difference between the sun and solar maximum and solar minimum. Because, like you said, Hopperson, it looks very much like the corona isn't there. Okay? But again, we have to understand that we're looking at the gases. So, what I like to show people is this one. Because this really does show a good variance of what we're looking at. So, this is the latest capture right now. Okay? And so what you can do, you just click on that, right? Click on it again and it'll pull another one up. And all you have to do to see the difference is go back to when the sun was in solar maximum. So what you do is just go back like 4 or 5 years. I'm going to go back 5 years. Let's just do that. So we'll go back to what? That would make it... Well, we'll go back to 17. 2007. No. Go back to 2015. Just do that. Now watch. As soon as it loads. See the difference? Okay? So that right there should help people understand that this is a sun coming out of solar minimum. This is a sun in solar maximum. And also, notice where the sunspots are. I've talked about this before too. They're equatorial. What that means is they are closer to the equator. Why do they do that? Because right now, you see this sunspot right now, where's it at? It's more so in the southern hemisphere. Okay, in order to understand why that does that, the sun has a north and south pole, right? A sun cycle is nothing more than that switching places. It has a polarity flip, like we talk about what could happen here on our Earth, right? Magnetically. When that flips, in the first year, going from the positive to the negative or vice versa, it travels between that in a straight line. Well, the sun rotates. Okay? But what's different is the sun's equatorial region rotates faster than it does on the north and south pole. I'm not talking about speed. I'm talking about actual degree rotation. Okay, when we talk about the speed of our Earth rotating, we use degrees for a reason. Because obviously, if you're going to go from here to here, that's what? A certain amount of distance, but it's still the same degree if you're going from this center point from here to here. So you can't use speed, you got to use degree. So this is moving at a greater degree, rotating. So what it does is it pulls these vertical lines of magnetism, it pulls it horizontal, sideways. So what you're seeing when you see a sunspot are those lines of magnetism that have been pulled sideways, and they kink sometimes, and they poke through the surface, and that is a sunspot. Okay? That's what a sunspot is. And why do they stay at the north and south at the beginning? Because as the sun cycle goes on, it winds up and it starts pulling. You'll see the migration from the sunspots, kind of in the higher latitudes. They'll start migrating towards the equator. And then when it goes into solar minimum, the pole flip again on the sun, the lines try to go back to vertical. And then the sun's rotation will do the same thing and pull them horizontal again. Oh, you're welcome, Hoppison. That's what we try to do, honestly. Those are great questions you guys are having. Great questions. Now, also, remember I was talking about, when we look at coronal holes and how sometimes they can be really big? Look at this. Okay? So when we look at this and we compare it to that, you guys see what I'm talking about? This is what we're moving towards this. We will get back to this on the sun. Just in the next few years. So why is it significant to what we talk about? Well, because our magnetic field is now about 25% weaker. So anything that the sun's going to throw at us is going to hit us harder. It's not going to take as much to really give us a big effect. So when I'm talking about this actually could change a little bit. A G1 storm may actually cause a few more things to happen as we get more into this, okay? You know, our data collection, guys, has changed dramatically even in 100 years. We got to understand that. Our communications have improved so much, okay? And with that being said, we have to understand that the conditions we will be experiencing aren't really reflective of what they were, 200 years ago, because we just simply didn't have the correct data collection. Now they're going to be close. We kind of know, all right, but it's still, we can't be as precise without that correct data collection. So that's kind of what I would say right there. That's significant to know, because it's not going to take as much from the sun or space weather to get us to this storm level. Or even at this, even if it doesn't officially become a geomagnetic storm, a KP of 4, this might help explain it a little bit better. A KP of 4 right here may actually start doing things like this. So we just don't know. So, yeah. Florence, I don't really know. I don't know what the sun would actually look like during a micronova. That's what she was asking, guys, for those that aren't reading the chat. Says, Mark, is a micronova when all the sun looks like those massive holes? I don't think so, but I'm not going to say it's not, because I don't know. Let me take you back to where I was at. Where was I was over here. So, sorry, I axed out of those. But also, guys, you can look at those sun captures on any satellite you want. Just Soho really shows it really good. Anyway. Okay, notice this right here. You see how it's kind of bending? And if we keep moving, which we will. Okay, you see that little bouncing around? So if we start right here and we move forward, we're going to get compressed. See that? And we push back. Now watch right here. Did that jump time? No, it didn't. This one gives us a capture every 4 minutes. That's actually a pretty significant change in 4 minutes. Okay, now, that right there, do you guys see this right here? Watch right here. See that? See how nothing happened down here, but it was here? And we didn't get anything from this side. So where did that come from? Okay, why am I showing you this? Guys, look at the time here. We had that little like blast right here. Where'd I have it? And it was roughly at that same time. Okay, so I think that's probably what we've seen. This right here. See that? So I think that's probably what was going on there. Now again, this right here doesn't look very impressive, does it? Well, guess what? It really kind of is. Because look how close the bow shock is. What this is telling you is we're getting hit really, really hard. We're compressed in. And it's staying consistent. And that right there is what's going to, if we get into storm level, that will be why. One of the reasons. The other reason is we already had all this geomagnetic activity get into our system. So it doesn't take as much, just like up here on the x-rays, to get us in the storm level. Hey, body and soul, good to see you. So yeah. CP, is this happening? Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, it's happening, right now, I guess, if you want to say it like that. Yeah, I mean, so we'll look at the data here. I updated it in case you're wondering. Now, look what's happening, okay? You see right here on the ACE data, see how the density is starting to fall off, but the solar wind speed's picking up? It's just a little bit at this moment. So know that when this is happening, we're probably getting ready to get hit again. And if their predictions are correct, which they, I think I seen somewhere they said it's like a 40% chance of us getting into this storm level. But we have to also understand that the percentage of how often the predictions are correct is like 70 to 80% or something like that. So if we take that in consideration with this they're saying, this model saying that it's going to have a 40% chance of getting into storm level. We take all that in consideration, and there's actually a significant chance we could get into storm level. They don't put this here just for no reason. I mean, and let me tell you something, guys. They're not going to, because I know people are really skeptical about stuff like this, and I am too. So what I would say to that is, you got to understand that if they're going to try to move data around or whatever, they're not going to try to do it around such a thing that's not really that big of a deal. So yeah. Okay, so at what strength of a solar storm would we actually feel something happening to ourselves? That really depends, Sandy, on how sensitive you are to those things. If we look at the Schumann resonance, this is one of those things that more people, this is our frequency, right? This is what, everything is frequency. That's why I show you guys this. So those of us that are real sensitive to this, like with ringing in your ears, headaches, blood pressure, all that, you're most definitely going to be more sensitive to geomagnetic storms. Because essentially what that's doing is it's changing the frequency. It's affecting the frequency. Hey, Axe, what's up? By the way, I liked your and Nacho's little bit there for All in the Family. That was funny. Drop the link to that one. Axe. Yeah, seriously, drop the link to that video, man. Guys, that video's like a minute long or two. Go check out Axe's All in the Family video, him and Nacho. They're acting like the bunkers off of All in the Family. It's a good one. It'll make you laugh. It's awesome. Okay. Yeah, Seeking, I don't ever claim that, that the power is going to go out, because we simply just don't know. I will say this, and this is where I'm going to kind of veer off of the space weather for a second. I'm going to show you guys this one first. I'll let it load as I'm doing this. But what we're looking at here, guys, is a geoelectric field model. This is space weather's effect on our electrical grid. Okay? Unnatural electrical components is what they officially say. But essentially, it is it's our electrical grid. It's really kind of that simple, I guess. So let me hit that. I'll let you guys watch this, because this is an uptick in activity. All right, I showed you guys one this morning when we're getting hit with that other one, right? The first one. Yeah, guys, Axe just dropped that link. Go check that out when we get done here. And while you're over there, throw him a subscription, would you? Honestly, it's awesome. Now, so if we stop and we look, guys. Now let me show you the earthquakes too. I guess before we get into that. Well, let me do this also. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place a little bit here. I'm trying to answer your guys' questions too. Maybe I should save that for last. I don't know, but I'm going to change this back to today. So this is right now. Now the noctilucent clouds, guys, they're back. Okay, so we are in noctilucent cloud season for the South Pole. Noctilucent clouds are, it's water vapor that freezes around meteor dust high up in our atmosphere on the poles. Okay, there's a season for them. It's in the southern hemisphere, it's right now. In the northern hemisphere, it's basically 6 months later, which would be summertime for both of each one. And it has to be summertime because that's when you're going to get more water vapor into the atmosphere. And it gets up high in the atmosphere, and when it gets that high, it's cold up there. So it freezes around that meteor dust that's hanging around. That's what we're told that they are. I have no reason to doubt that. I mean, I've not seen anybody really kind of go against that, but I don't, I have no other thing to tell you there. But we had 13 fireballs reported. But I was going through the near-Earth objects here, guys, and I seen this one pop out. And I'm not sure if that one was there already. It might not have been, but we're going to check it. This is near-Earth objects. This is their attempt to see, asteroids, meteors that are coming towards Earth. The LD stands for lunar distance. This is the speed they're moving, the velocity, and the diameter is how big they are. So this one here was a 4.3, which is over 4 times the distance to the moon. Okay? And it's 16 meters. That's not like a baby, but it's not huge. The 408 is huge. Okay? But look at the date, January 6th. You guys see when it was, this right here tells you when it was discovered. It was discovered this year, 2021. There's only been 6 days this year. So if we go up here and we change this, let's just go back to the 4th. Well, we'll try the 5th. I don't even think it was there yesterday. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't there on the 4th, though. So yeah, it's not there. So they just now seen this one, like yesterday. So that's just telling people, hey, listen, they don't always see everything. And I kind of take up for them in this aspect because it's a huge undertaking to try to spot everything. I can tell you with great confidence that I don't think they'll ever be able to spot them all. Okay? You can also notice that, that's a 1-1. Here's a 0.6 that's going to happen, in February. But again, that's still a good distance away. See you, Terry. Thanks for stopping in, man. Medi, what's up? Chris Kringle, like the name. Paula, hey, good to see you. Murphy, what's up? Wolfie, oh, that's right. Okay, so, earthquakes. I have to say, I'm looking at this thing, and it really doesn't look like a whole lot of activity. Matter of fact, I don't like it when it looks like this. Okay, there is stuff going on, because I'm going to change this to all magnitudes. Okay, now, again, other than where we typically see them, we're not seeing a whole lot at this second. This is the last 24 hours. So, you take that for whatever it's worth. We gotta have some release. Hey Marie, good to see you. We gotta have some relief of pressure. If we don't, that's when we get the big ones. We also have to understand that, today, the seismos around Yellowstone, they were, some of them were showing some quakes. And I know, I think Ricky was talking about Mount Rainier, and so was Terry and Ron. So, we got to pay attention to those kinds of things. We have to. I haven't had a chance to check out everybody's videos today, so I'm not sure if Ricky made one or not. I stopped into Ron's live stream just for a minute, so I haven't really had my my eyes on this right now. But I can say that this, in my opinion, I think this is kind of low activity. As far as the bigger ones, 2.5 and above. If you guys have been hanging around my channel for any length of time, you can pretty much tell that that's not a whole lot to what we usually see. Now, again, the small ones relieve pressure also. So if there's a bunch of the small ones, obviously it could relieve some of that pressure. You know what I mean? But, so these are the ones that are happening right now. Let me get the chat on the other side so you can see it. That one happened at about a half hour ago. Okay? Seriously. That happened about a half hour ago. 4-9 in Japan. We get a 5-1 down here about 6 o'clock in the morning today. 4-6. We had this one over here too I thought was interesting in Venezuela. That's a 4-5. That happened earlier today. So yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, guys. I don't know what the exact number, what really we should be seeing, which is why I push you guys over to Ricky's channel. That's why I push you guys over to Ron's and everybody else's that does the earthquake thing, because they're going to know a lot more than what I do on this, okay? And I really do try to understand what they're saying. I do understand what they're saying. I'm just not as confident in trying to tell you guys that, because I don't want to get it wrong. And that's why. I will understand it enough to tell you that, hey, we're getting solar weather. We better watch out for some, earthquake upticks. That's where I stop with it. Because that's just what I know, Okay, so here's seeds. Now I'm going to show you guys something here. It's a little crazy. Because we did have another CME, and I'm going to show it to you. We'll let this load. This is on the LASCO C2. It's in that same satellite that's looking at the sun that I was telling you about, that sits out in front of the Earth. So this is the viewpoint of this would be as if you walked outside and looked up at the sun. It's our view. It's our viewpoint. You guys see this right here? A lot of you guys already know what that is. That is a halo CME. You see how it's stretching? And even kind of bulged out here. It's even here. You see that? This is a sizable one, guys. Okay? So, why did I say, we don't know just by looking at this one satellite if that's going to be, coming at us. Because the main part of it's behind this occulter. This is a black disc that's on the tool. Okay? If it's not there, we don't get any kind of capture at all. Same here. This is the surface of the sun. Basically, the bigger disc is covering up the corona. Sometimes shits and giggles. So that's kind of what I'm going to explain here. So if I back it up, you guys see this, right? And remember what I said yesterday. We have to have at least 2 or 3 different points of perspective to get a good direction, right? So we got to look from the side and the front to at least get some sort of an idea. So we're looking at the front here. So let's go look at the side. Where do we look at the side? Stereo A, right here. And what you're going to see is that. Okay, so to give you perspective of what we're looking at, the satellite's here, the Earth is over here. So this is actually going the opposite direction. This is going directly opposite of where we're at. So this will not hit us whatsoever. But this is a good way for me to show you guys that if you just looked at this one, you could actually draw the conclusion that that CME is coming right at us, because all the stuff would be behind the occulter, like it is here anyway. But what people kind of fail to kind of try to look at is that it will look exactly the same if it's going straight off the back, because we don't have a side view, and that's a two-dimensional model trying to show us a three-dimensional thing. So we have to look at least two different perspectives here. Really, it's best to have a third, which is what the CME tracker does. Let me see if do I have it up? I don't have it up right now. I will pull it up though real quick. So this is the old CME, that last one that fired off over here. That one's not going to bother us either. But this one, it hasn't shown the big halo one that fired off the back here. But you got sorry. You got three different perspectives here. You got X, Y, and Z, right? So you got a top-down view, a side view, and then you get a depth, pretty much, view right here. This is Earth's orbital line stretched out in a straight line. It's this orbital line that we orbit on, and it's stretched out on a straight line. So you can tell where it gets distorted, it's not hitting Earth right here. And these other ones confirm it. So that's why we look at it, you know. Hey Chewy, what's up? So, what can we be expecting? Well, right now, this right here is showing at a 3. Now, the next one we look at, and it won't happen until 6 UTC, is when we'll get that next updated bar there. Right now, it's at 4:12 UTC. So we've got about 2 hours before this thing will update again. So we're going to have to wait. And I hate to say that, but that's all I can do. I don't have anything else to show you, to go off of. Now, what I will say, judging by this, I can confidently tell you that we're getting an uptick. Is it going to be strong enough to put us in the storm level? I don't know. But what I can say is, yes, we're getting hit again. This is that second little burst, okay? It's starting to hit us, and if it isn't just starting, then it's not as powerful as what it could have been. And it could be just a glancing blow, because that's possible too with this one. That was still kind of out there, that they weren't 100% sure was going to actually hit us. They were really confident about it, and everything I seen and showed you guys different models, it all pointed to us getting hit. But this is definitely something that we're looking at. Now, guys, look at this. Wow. So let me explain why I just said wow. You see kind of how we have a little bit of an oval. Usually this is kind of a perfect circle. Not always, but usually it's pretty close. And the reason is because our electromagnetic field is pushing out in all directions, not just in one direction. And it pushes pretty evenly unless we're getting pushed on from something else. So watch the shape of this as I go forward in time. Okay, did you guys see what happened there? So we start here. Watch everything kind of shift to the left. See it? And then watch what happens. Now, this looks like a racetrack. And this right here is showing you that this is really at least into our satellite line. So, yeah, this is pressure. And this is one of the reasons why we talk about earthquakes around this. Because, obviously, if we're getting compressed on both sides, We'll just leave it at that. You know, it can squeeze on you. So, in my opinion, I've seen this, I've observed this, a lot of pressure, what we see with a lot of pressure is almost kind of like exactly what we see when we don't have any pressure. Because like I said, we're always pushing out too. If we don't have anything pushing against us to hold us kind of stable in a like a position, then we're going to move the opposite direction, and it can help cause some earthquakes. So both, you know, we want to be in the middle. And I know I say that a lot, but that's just the fact of things. It really is. So let's update these real quick, and then I got something else I want to show you. Okay. So yes, we're still getting compressed pretty good here. Let's go to this one. Notice the density staying right around 15. It seemed to drop off there a little bit. So, like I said, guys, we have to understand that we're really not going to get hit real hard unless this BZ starts dipping down into the negatives. Okay? Good analogy there, Richard. What happens when you squeeze a pimple? It pops. Hey, Nacho, what's up? Or should I call you Edith? Hey, Paula. Anyway, yeah. So, let's, yeah. Let me do this real quick. There's my PayPal link, guys. If you guys want to help me out, that would be great. I love it. I love you guys for doing it. You know, it's never expected, but it's always appreciated. And I can't tell you guys how much you guys have helped me. I can't even articulate it. It gets me emotional even thinking about it. But the stress that was just relieved when I did that, and you guys were pushing me to do this, was something to see. You know, it really did. So thank you guys that have been, you know, donating to my PayPal and helping me out. I didn't do that till like a couple months ago, and anybody that's been with me for a minute kind of knows that. You know, I don't monetize my channel because I don't want you guys to be forced to watch any kind of ads or anything like that. And this is the first time I've ever accepted anything like that, ever. But anyway, so there's my PayPal. That's one that I didn't do it at the beginning. I forgot. So that's why I put it in there. Thanks, Mama. Appreciate that. CPN, Nacho the guy. Yep. PJ. Daniel, hey, what's up, bud? So, let me take you guys over here. And I do want to show you guys this real quick, okay? This is Axe's channel right here. This video is 51 seconds long. It's got 39 views. Let's everybody needs to run over there after this stream and watch this thing for 51 seconds. I'm going to pause it just because I want you guys to go over there, okay? Give them some, you know, some love. This thing is hysterical. I just got to say. It cracks me up. That's Axe and that's Nacho, just so you know. So here is the link. Okay? So go check them out. And after you get through checking them out, I'm going to go hang out over here. This is Mark Pyers. You guys know that. Awesome dude. And I put you guys over here a lot. And almost everybody in here really has never ever come back to me and said, oh, I hate that channel. You know, that kind of thing. This is something that is definitely a positive outlet for everybody. He'll make you laugh. He'll make you cry. He'll make you appreciate life. Because that's all he's doing. He's projecting positivity. And that's what we need. Okay? So if you guys could, just follow me over here too. I'll be in the chat, guys. You guys want to talk some more with me over there, I will be in the chat. And so will Axe. So will Dennis. So will George. Ricky's over there a lot. So just know that. Copy. Paste. So I am going to head over there. That's where I'm going to go. So let's go give him a Wages Love Bomb. Stop in at Axe's channel first. And then let's go over here and give Mark a Wages Love Bomb. And show him how we can do this, alright? Anybody that's not subscribed over here, please go over here and do so. We got to support each other, guys. This is not a negative platform whatsoever. This is where I want to go to I push you guys over here because I hate, absolutely hate, sharing negative information. See you, Russell. Thanks for stopping in, bud. And this is one of the ways I'm trying to help, because this will bring your mood up immediately. I laughed for the first time in 2 years, belly laughed. The first time I watched him. And I got to thank Sig and I got to thank Scott for that, for pushing us over there. So just know that, all right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about there, guys. All right? So anyway, that's where I'm heading. I hope you guys follow me over there. And we'll see what we got. God bless. Thanks, mods. Thanks, everybody. Yahusha saves, and you can drink.